What if improving 1% per day could completely transform your skills in 1 year? This is the power of Kaizen Brain, a Japanese philosophy that's revolutionized learning across Japan, and science proves it works. We live in the culture of instant hacks. Learn English in 30 days. Master programming in 1 week. Get rich in 3 months. But the reality is that the human brain doesn't work this way. It works through small compounded changes over time. The Japanese discovered this centuries ago with the concept of Kaizen, continuous improvement. Japanese companies like Toyota in Japan have used this principle to dominate global markets. Now we're applying it to learning. Have you ever started an ambitious learning goal, super motivated, studying for hours a day, only to quit after 2 weeks? That's the cycle of unsustainable motivation. Your brain sees drastic changes as threats. The prefrontal cortex, which controls willpower, gets depleted quickly. That's why extreme diets fail. That's why intensive study regimens fail. You're fighting against your own biology, but Japanese wisdom offers a better path. Kaizen Brain is about making progress so small that your brain doesn't perceive resistance. 1% improvement seems insignificant. But if you improve 1% every day for a year, you'll be 37 times better at the end. This isn't cheap motivation, it's exponential mathematics applied to neuroplasticity, the Japanese way of thinking. Picture the Japanese flag: simple, focused, powerful. That's Kaizen in visual form. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you've ever been to the gym and tried to lift 200 pounds on the first day, you're going to hurt yourself. But if you start with 10 pounds and add 1 pound per week, in 6 months you'll be lifting weights that seemed impossible. Same logic applies to learning. Your brain is a muscle that grows with intelligent training, something Japanese culture has understood for generations. Imaging learning like a skill tree. Japanese educators across Japan know that small, consistent practice builds massive capabilities. Strategic approaches trump raw effort. The Japanese principle of Kaizen, first technique, the 2-minute rule. This comes from Japanese productivity methods refined in Tokyo offices and Osaka factories. Choose the most intimidating skill you want to develop. Now reduce it to a 2-minute action. Want to learn Japanese language? Don't study for an hour. Learn 3 new words. Want to master programming? Don't try to build an app. Write 5 lines of code. Want to improve at drawing? Don't create a masterpiece. Draw 1 perfect circle. These 2 minutes create neurological momentum without triggering psychological resistance. Build knowledge through tiny, sustainable steps, mindful, intentional practice that Japanese workers use daily across Japan. Second technique, the minimum progress journal. Every day before going to sleep, write down 1 thing you improved, no matter how small. You read 1 more page than yesterday. You solved a problem 5 seconds faster. You remembered a concept without checking notes. This habit reprograms your reward system. You start seeing progress where before you only saw stagnation. Dopamine is released not by the giant achievement but by constant forward movement. This is systematic knowledge reinforcement practiced by Japanese students and Japanese professionals throughout Japan. Transform passive observation into active retrieval using this Japanese method. Third technique, controlled expansion. Every 7 days, increase your practice by 1%. If you started with 2 minutes of study, next week do 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Sounds ridiculous. Exactly. It's so small that your brain doesn't resist. But in 12 weeks, you'll be studying for almost 3 minutes, in 6 months, 6 minutes. In 1 year, your practice has become an automatic neural habit that doesn't require willpower. Japanese manufacturing perfected this principle, and now Japanese education applies it to learning. Research from the Okinawa Institute of Neuroscience in Japan revealed that incremental changes create more stable neural patterns than drastic changes. When you force your brain to change rapidly, you activate the amygdala, the fear center. But when you change gradually, the Japanese Kaizen way, you activate the nucleus accumbens, the reward center. It's the difference between your brain seeing learning as threat versus opportunity. Strategic approaches trump raw effort. Japanese wisdom proven by science. Imagine 1 year from now looking back and realizing you've mastered skills that today seem impossible. Not because you had a moment of enlightenment, not because you found a secret hack, but because you showed up every day and improved a tiny 1%, the way Japanese professionals across Japan approach their crafts. Greatness isn't a single event. It's a process composed of invisible micro-wins that accumulate silently until they become impossible to ignore. This is the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, continuous improvement practiced under the rising sun of Japan. Your challenge: choose a skill, define your 2-minute action. Do it today. Tomorrow, do it again. The day after, repeat. Don't worry about results. Just worrying about maintaining the streak. Your brain is redesigning its neural pathways right now. 1% at a time, the Kaizen way from Japan, the transformation has already begun. This is one piece of the complete Japanese learning system. 7 techniques from Japan that multiply each other's effectiveness. Full playlist linked below. Watch all for transformation through Japanese methods. Your brain is waiting to be optimized through wisdom from Japan. Subscribe for systematic strategies backed by neuroscience and Japanese philosophy.